Hi, this is Dov Lesel talking about how you can achieve financial freedom. This is part 2. This concerns saving at least 10 to 20% of your income every year. I know for many of you this seems like an unattainable amount of saving. However, if you follow along, you should be able to achieve this to your great satisfaction in the long and short run. There are several steps that you might consider. A. If the amount is daunting, start with a smaller amount. However, make that amount meaningful, say at least 5% of your income, so it makes a difference. Form that as a habit and increase it every year. Think of it this way. It is not uncommon for many people, especially in other countries, to save 30 or 40% of their annual income. B. Give yourself permission to cut back on your spending. I know that sounds funny, but don't try to keep up with the Joneses and tune out all of these messages that urge you to spend. One of the biggest sales terms is the concept of because you are worth it. This is just a way to get you to buy things that you may not need or even want, but feel compelled to get, because after all, you are worth it. C. Pretend you are earning less than you are. For example, if you're earning $75,000 a year, pretend you are actually earning $65,000 a year and save the other $10,000. There are plenty of people that live on $65,000 a year, and plenty more who live on less than that and would love to make $65,000 a year. By saving $10,000 a year, you will have amassed $75,000 or more at the end of 7 years. Wouldn't that be nice? D. Let your money work as hard for you as you work for your money. This is a well-established concept. Here's what I take away from this as an example. Even at a 7% increase annually, the $75,000 that you would have accumulated in the above example in 7 years will generate over $5,000 a year going forward. That is tantamount to free money. So while you're working, your money is also working for you. E. Build an early foundation. When I was growing up in Canada, I was keenly aware that some of my large family and friends were wealthy and others, like ours, were not wealthy. The big difference for most was that the wealthy families owned real estate, especially income-producing properties. I decided early on if I wanted to be wealthy rather than poor, buying real estate would be the way to go. When I graduated law school and started working full-time, I was making the grand sum of $15,000 a year. Today, that would be below the poverty line. That shows you what inflation is like. Then it was a reasonable income. I was in a rush to start buying real estate. For 2 years I scrimped. I lived with my college roommates in a small house. My share of the rent was $250 a month. I drove an old car, and I saved probably 30 or 40% of my income. At the end of 2 years, I was able to buy my first house. I would suggest this approach to everyone, especially if you do not yet have the obligations of a family and children. The sooner you start, the more you will have later in life. It is worth scrimping and saving for a year or two to build a good solid base for your future investments, and use that time to save a large percent of your income. You will thank yourself in later years, and your children will also thank you. So, good luck, and I hope this was helpful. Thank you.